Plague, economic crisis, and the decline of the Catholic Church were not the only problems of the late Middle Ages. War and political instability must also be added to the list. The Hundred Years' War was the most violent struggle during this period. Trouble began over the province of Guienne in France. Guienne, along with the province of Gascony, made up the Duchy of Aquitaine. England possessed it and France wanted it. King Edward III of England was also the Duke of Aquitaine and a vassal to the French king. However, when King Philip VI of France seized Guienne in 1337, Edward declared war on Philip, thus beginning the Hundred Years' War. This war between England and France began in a burst of knightly enthusiasm. Trained to be warriors, knights viewed battle as a chance to show off their fighting abilities. The Hundred Years' War proved to be an important turning point in the nature of warfare, however. Peasant foot soldiers, not knights, won the chief battles of the war. France's heavily armed noble cavalrymen viewed foot soldiers as social inferiors. The English also used heavily armed cavalry, but they relied more on large numbers of peasants paid to be foot soldiers. English soldiers were armed with pikes or heavy spears and longbows, which had greater striking power, longer range, and more rapid speed of fire than the crossbow, which was formerly the weapon of choice. The first major battle of the Hundred Years' War occurred in 1346 at Crécy. The large French army followed no battle plan and attacked in a disorderly fashion. The English archers devastated them. The Battle of Crécy was not decisive, however. The English did not have enough resources to conquer all of France. Nevertheless, they continued to try. The English king, Henry V, achieved victory at the Battle of Agincourt in 1415. The heavily armored French knights who attacked Henry's forces across a muddy field were disastrously defeated, and 1,500 French nobles died in battle. The seemingly hopeless French cause now fell into the hands of Charles VII, heir to the French throne. Quite unexpectedly, a French peasant woman saved the timid monarch. The daughter of prosperous peasants, Joan of Arc was a deeply religious person. She claimed to have visions and believed that saints had commanded her to free France. Though only 17, Joan's sincerity and simplicity persuaded Charles to allow her to accompany a French army to Orleans. Apparently inspired by Joan's faith, the French armies found new confidence and seized Orleans. Joan had brought the war to a turning point, but did not live to see its end. The English captured her in 1430, turning her over to the Inquisition on charges of witchcraft. At the time, it was thought that either God or the devil inspired the visions that she claimed to have. Although the war dragged on for another 2 decades after Joan was condemned to death, English defeats at Normandy and Aquitaine led to a French victory by 1453. Also important to French success was the cannon, a new weapon made possible by the invention of gunpowder. This is from a French manuscript illumination of the Siege of Orleans. Notice the cannons here and here. These are primitive cannons that were abandoned by the English at Mont Saint-Michel. The Hundred Years' War ultimately contributed to the end of medieval Europe. The steady defeat of knights with the use of longbows and pikes, and later gunpowder as evidenced by French success with the cannon, reduced the importance of knights in warfare. This, in turn, reduced the overall need for knights in battle, and thus lessened their importance to the feudal order that supported their existence. With the decline of feudalism, medieval Europe would give way to a new political order dominated by monarchs.